It's the Rod and Cindy podcast, starring Rod Lyman and Cindy Mooby. Hi, welcome to the Rod and Cindy podcast. My name is Rod Lyman. We're missing Cindy Mooby. She is in Maine on another trip. She's having a great time up there. Miss her. She's going to be listening to our podcast and everything. That I have this beautiful man that's next to me. That he's got this white, long, flowing hair, kind of like myself. And that his name is
Ray Kopakowski.
Ray Kopakowski.
Hi, Cindy.
Hi, Cindy. Anyway, so I always laugh about your last name. It's like the last podcast person, I couldn't pronounce his name either, but I used to always call you Cup of Coffee.
Cup of coffee. Mm-hmm.
That's because you had a coffee shop one time.
It's interesting because you're the first person that ever said that.
I am the first person to ever call you
all the Kopakowskis in my family and everything, and I said, guess what, guys? There's this guy named Rod Lyman who's got this wonderful hair similar to myself, and he called us Cup of Coffee, and they laughed. They just thought it was so funny.
Really? That's the original? Cup of Coffee is original?
So original.
Are you just being a little bit of a smart butt to me right now?
Yeah, a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a touch.
So what have you been doing? I haven't seen you for a while.
Well, actually, I've been sort of laying low in some respects. I've been working at my office and getting the clients that I've been getting. Things have slowed down considerably. And it seems that the relationship part of my business has slowed down, but it's given me room now to start to write and to do other things that I find that what I was doing before was I'm starting to look at it as a bit of a distraction.
Oh wow, really?
Not that I don't love it. I absolutely love working with people. When I'm in my office and I'm helping two people try and get their relationship back, or start it up or something like
Yes.
that. It's fantastic. I really do love it. But I'm also recognizing now that it's much bigger than that. The information that I've been getting that's been coming to me is supposed to be out there for a much larger audience.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So I'm working on the book, and I'm working on, I've got a TED Talk all prepared. I'm ready to do that. I'm just getting myself ready to hit the road.
Ready to explode, huh?
Yeah, I'm hoping so.
Nice.
So
what's the book called?
The book is The 5 Easy Steps of a Healthy Selfish Relationship.
Oh, we'll talk a little bit more of that later.
Yeah.
But
well, it's all.
I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's cool, and it's sort of one of those things that came to me. So much of this, I want to tell people that just about everything in the book is because of what I've channeled in my sessions.
Oh, wow.
Being a universal channel is becoming very, very evident to me. It's given me a lot of freedom. I looked up universal channel just to see if one day somebody was asking about what I do, and I said, and I was in the middle of talking about stuff, and I said, I'm a universal channel. And I've never said that before. I didn't know where it came from, but it came from being a universal channel. That's how it works. So I said, okay, so what's a universal channel? And I started to look it up, and apparently, if you Google universal channel, it's a television station. That I don't even know what they do, but they do some kind of business type of thing. And so.
Funny.
So I started going, okay, am I the only universal channel out there, or what's happening? And if I am, what are my call numbers?
Call numbers.
But but I've been really enjoying that feeling that way. You've known me for a long time now,
Mm-hmm.
and I've had problems over the years being. With my ego, I've always been somebody that was, from 9 years old, I was supposed to be a star. I was supposed to be out there, and people were going to know who I was. And it gave me a bit of an ego. And when I started into working on spiritual stuff, I thought I was maybe supposed to be a guru. I was supposed to be, I don't know, something, and it was supposed to be about me. And I always had a hard time with it because whatever I tried to do, it didn't sit well. It just didn't sit well because
Right.
I knew I was lying. I knew it wasn't really about me. I never felt that kind of connection that I do with being a universal channel.
So even when you played your music?
Well, that was different, and yeah, actually, when I played my music too, and come to think of it, everything I've ever done, I've done because I could do it, not because I wanted to do it, and not because I worked at doing it.
Right.
I never did any of that stuff. I was 9 years old. I was the youngest person ever to sing for the Lyric Opera Company in Philadelphia.
Wow.
I did La Boheme. I did Lohengrin for the Met. I danced with the Philadelphia Ballet Company. And no one ever asked me if I wanted to do any of that. I never said, this is something I want to do. I just did it because I was able to do it.
Right.
And so channeling is the same kind of thing. All the stuff that I knew about energy work, doing energy work at 19 years old, forms of Reiki, helping, they called me the block doc in San Diego, doing all that kind of stuff. I just did it. And for the most part, I would stand back and go, what the hell am I doing?
Exactly.
What am I doing? And people would come to me, or as if I was, as if I had something to do with it. And I let them think that. I didn't argue.
Right.
But honestly, it didn't sit well.
Wow.
It never really sat well because I knew ultimately, especially in healing, that I was giving them the opportunity to heal themselves in my name. If a person doesn't feel connected, or they don't feel like they have the ability to heal themselves, they don't believe it, or because of religion, indoctrinations, all that kind of stuff. If they don't believe it, then they need somebody to blame for their healing.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
And I'm really hoping that that some of the stuff that I've been coming out with lately will help out. The stuff, that ribboning.
Right.
Did we talk about?
Yeah, we talked about ribboning rast time.
Okay,
yeah, we did.
So ribboning
Yeah,
is
touch on it again because I like that.
well, ribboning is a really interesting modality. I was working on somebody, and all of a sudden my hands, it was like getting a hand on my chest, and I was moved away from the person that I was working on. And the next thing I knew, I was standing at the end of the massage table with my hands on their ankles. And I said, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I want you to imagine a small red ribbon, a red band. I think I called it a band or a string. It wasn't a ribbon at that time. And I said, imagine this red ribbon moving from the bottom of your foot up to the middle of your thigh. And tell me when you see that. And then they did, and they saw that. And I said, okay, now take the ribbon and cross it across your body to you started on your left leg, and then you went across to your right hip, and from your right hip to your left shoulder, and then it followed a pattern around the body. And then the second ribbon, so I'm standing there looking at this thing, and I can fully see this half-inch line running around their body, and I'm looking at it going, okay, great, what next? Help me out here.
Correct.
And the second one that started to form was about a 3-inch ribbon, and this one was like a green color. And I said, okay, now follow this to the same spot so it covers the red, and it goes over the top of your leg to your thigh, to your left thigh. And when I hit that, I was ready to move on because that's what I had done.
Right.
But instead, I said, now I want you to release all the energy from the bottom of your foot to that section on your thigh that you have the green area there, and tell me when you're done. Imagine releasing everything. And so they did, and then I went with that same pattern. We followed the same pattern in a 3-inch path. And then the third pass was, I said, now imagine a silver or gold, it's up to you, a silver or gold ribbon about 12 to 13 inches and laying over the red and over the green. And this time I want you to release everything. Release everything good, release everything bad, all positive and negative energy. And the reason I want you to release that energy is because I don't want you to give positive energy any more power than negative energy. I want you to understand that energy is pure in its sense. And so if you give it no power by differentiating it, you are connecting to pure energy, plain
Right.
and simple.
Right.
Okay? So, so the other ones have judgment. Positive energy and negative energy has judgment connected to it.
Really?
Yeah. So you have to decide whether it's positive or negative.
So what does judgment look like?
Well, the judgment could be anything. You can say that something that happened to me was really, really good. And you may, and most people that judge something as being really, really good, they just walk away from it. That's
Right,
the
right.
end.
Right.
So if you judge something as being negative, you can do a couple different things with a negative judgment. You can look at something and say, oh, this was horrible and all that kind of stuff, and you can connect it to karma. You can do all kinds of things with it. You can spend time getting through it, and that happens an awful lot in relationship counseling. People think that this bad thing that happened, all we need to do is get through it, and then we can do it.
Exactly.
But negative judgment is actually about an opportunity to take whatever happened to you in a negative format and make it into something so good that it was worth it. You never want to try and get through anything. You never want to judge something in a negative way and decide to yourself that anything other than how do I make this good for me?
Right.
I want, and I learned that when I was working with a lot of people. There was a point that I was seeing about 80% of my clients were dealing with infidelity. And all I kept recognizing is when you're done working with me, I want you to look at that infidelity and say, wow, that is the best thing that ever happened to us.
Wow.
Because we got so close as a result.
Right.
So that was. Yeah.
Well, that's kind of interesting because I've always loved Carl Jung stuff, and Carl Jung always talked about the living above the diaphragm, because we don't live in the lower part of our body with our relationship. We live in the upper part of our body with our relationship.
Okay.
And so it is that I love that idea, that concept, because if we live above the diaphragm, and I'm not sure if he ever talked about the chakras or whatever else, but that's your throat, your heart, your third eye, and your crown chakra, which is your spirituality. So if we had that relationship with everybody, with the heart, being able to speak what we want to say to the person, share with like ideas, see the same thing, and have like ideas of spirituality in that, that's a perfect relationship, isn't it?
Well, it is. It is, but I've grown to know that loving somebody and taking what you perceive to be a loving action is not enough. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not enough. It is okay, because it happens all the time. I'll get two people that come into the office, and I'll ask them at some point, well, do you love him? Yes, I love him. Do you love her? Yes, I definitely love her. Okay, so why are you people like this then? Why are you hurting so much? Why are you ready to kill each other? Why are you just walking out? If you both really love each other, what's missing? And what's missing is they don't know how to treat each other. They don't know how to take care of each other. And what they do in relationships is basically negatively selfish.
Right.
They want to get through it. They look at the person and they say, God, she's really hurting. And they go, I wish that would be over with. Why doesn't she get over it? Why don't we put this behind us? Why don't we forget that? That's completely negatively selfish.
It is, absolutely.
A positive selfish outlook on that is, holy crap, she's really hurting. What do I have to do to fix this?
Right, exactly.
And why do I want to fix it? I really want to fix it. Do I really want to fix it for her, or do I really want to fix it for me? So if I was in a situation before where I wanted to say something to somebody, basically to get them over it, to get past it, to get through it, and not give a damn about us learning anything, that's one thing. But if I do it in a positive way, I want her to feel loved and cared for and respected and all that kind of stuff, because I don't want to lose her.
Exactly.
I don't want to lose.
Right.
And I'm glad that she benefits from it. I'm glad that my partner is thrilled about my attentions and all that kind of stuff. But basically, it's about me.
Right. I talked to a guru once not too long ago. He was about relationships and everything else. He says 90% of people that get divorced is over the drumstick.
Oh, what?
Over the drumstick. And I was like, explain. He says, a husband or a wife, he says, doesn't matter to that, always wants to give the drumstick to the other person because it's their favorite part. We always try to give the other person their favorite part. Yeah. And they get upset with that because they don't want that. That's not their favorite part. We forget what our favorite part is because we want to give our favorite part to the person. Yeah. And we're not making them an individual. What part do you want?
Well, it happens all the time that people will say, I love it. Okay. So I when I work with people, there's several different stages that we go through as far as okay, I watch for understanding. I watch for them to recognize. There's usually an aha moment early on in the counseling sessions where people, you look at them and they go, oh, geez, I had no idea that I'm supposed to be recognizing, who this person is, that I'm really risking in my actions. I'm risking losing this person. And they start to wake up a little bit. And then you get people further down the line that you can start to give them specific tools to help them in the relationship and to be able to see what the progress is.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
So it's not just about taking the actions. It's about being able to record the results so that you see that it's working for you. So it gives you incentive to continue to do it. Okay. So I had somebody recently. So I see people individually a lot.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yep.
And I work with them individually, and then sometimes we'll come together as a couple, and they get to practice what they do or talk about. Together is very different sessions than separate. So I got a guy that's been coming to me for several months, and he's been really, really working at it, and he's been starting to see some results. So I gave him a new series of actions to take. And I didn't see him for a week.
Oh, wow.
He comes back in and he goes, wow, this has been great. He goes, right. I did this, and I beat her to the punch. I went and I took care of this situation. I took care of that situation. I did this. I did that. I worked out all these kinds of things, and she's being responsive and she's being wonderful, and I'm really caring about her, and I'm really feeling the benefit of focusing on her and focusing on the relationship. It's working out great. I think that this is really fantastic. And I'm like, wow, this is really great. I'm doing a good job.
Exactly.
I'm really thrilled about me now.
Exactly. Good job. Good job.
So it's really great. So a couple of days later, she comes in, and I'm waiting for this, and I'm waiting to see if she recognized all the things that he was doing. Okay. And she comes in and she sits down and she's smiling. Her energy is really good. And I can tell. I'm like, oh, boy, this is really good. Okay. So she says, I said, so, how's it going? And she says, pretty good. I said, okay, tell me what's been happening. Well, he did this and he did that and all this kind of stuff. And he's really starting to pay attention, and he's asking me questions, and he's doing all this kind of stuff. I said, how does that make you feel? And she said, he wants sex. I went, what? And she said, well, I just thought he wanted sex. And I was like, okay, all right. And I thought immediately, all this stuff that he did not set up communication with her.
Right.
So the next time I saw him, I could not give out the information at that point. I was sort of
Right.
like, wow, okay, so I can't tell her what was missing. So I waited and I saw him again and I said, did you sit her down and explain to her what it was you were doing and why you were doing it? And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, if you let somebody else think of what your intentions are, then you're setting yourself up to get what she knew before. She knew that you did all these kinds of things because, it was great. You wanted to be close to her, but you wanted sex. and that's not bad. And she enjoyed it. She was happy about it. And by the way, she capitulated. But it was missing because the root was not addressed. If you're going to do something nice for somebody and you're trying to get a relationship, you're trying to rebuild a foundation to a relationship, you want to say to them, at least for a while, you want to be able to say, listen, the reason I'm going to do this is because, first off, because I love you and I want to be with you. Secondly, because I recognize what we had done before and how it didn't work for us. And I want you to understand that I see that, and I never want you to be hurting again. So the reason that I'm trying to address this situation, or the reason that I'm about to take this action, is because I have our relationship first and foremost in the front of my mind. Don't mistake my actions.
Right.
I want to be partners with you, and I'm focused on being partners with you. It takes away all the guesswork.
Absolutely.
People are always talking to me about, they come for two things. They come for communication, and they come for trust.
Right.
And trust is, and I always get them away from dealing with trust. Okay? I always move them away from dealing with trust because I want them to understand that good communication builds trust.
Right.
Okay? It's secondary. Trust is secondary to good communication. So what is good communication? Is good communication in a partnership, does it have anything to do with the issues?
I think we're having good communication right now.
We're having good communication.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Does it have anything to do with the issues?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So people always think that this is about addressing issues, about communication is addressing issues. It has nothing to do with issues.
Right.
It has everything to do with how are we going to treat each other concerning these issues.
Absolutely.
That's it, period. And so before that, you need to spend time figuring out why what is it, what's in it for me to want to communicate with somebody? What's in it for me? Why would I want to do that? So in a relationship, in a love relationship, this is where the 5 steps came from. Now, do you mind if I keep going like this? I'm just rattling
keep going,
off.
man. You're on a roll here. Just don't stop.
I wanted to see if it was going to come flying
Yeah,
out
just
like this.
yep. Do it.
All right. So, in a relationship, I really need to understand that it became very evident to me in the beginning of my work in relationships that I wanted to listen to people. I wanted to hear what they were doing with their issues. I wanted to help them talk about their issues. I wanted to do a very individual kind of work with everybody that came here, thinking that it was all going to be very, very, individual.
Right. Right.
I didn't want to rely on books. You know, I always get this image of people that do work in relationships, and they go, okay, so he did this. Let me see, that's on page 42.
Right.
And I didn't want to do any of that.
Nothing mechanical.
Yeah. And so, but I found out over a period of time that really everybody had the exact same issue. And I hated knowing that, you know, but I started to realize that it was really, the things that I was talking about, I would do them over and over and over again, and they had nothing to do with the issues,
Right.
nothing to do with the problems that they thought they were bringing.
Right.
Nothing at all. You know, and so I started to recognize, and as I would channel a lot of this information, I would say, okay, so listen, step one, wait a second now. Step one is that you really need to pull away because you have no idea of what the hell you're doing in this relationship. You don't know who she is. You don't know. You think you take these actions that have absolutely nothing to do with her. You think they're loving actions. All it does is upset her. I said, you got to back up. Okay, we got to start again. So, you know, step one was, what do you bring to a relationship?
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to love yourself, but you have to accept yourself. Okay.
Right,
So
exactly.
if you accept who you are, you're accepting who you are, the good and the bad, whatever's positive, whatever's negative. It's very, very important to know them both.
Yep.
And the reason that it's very important is because if you're going to form a partnership with somebody, hopefully it's the person you're dealing with right now, but if you're going to form a partnership, your partner has to know all your strengths and all your weaknesses in order to run a good relationship business. Got it? Okay?
Absolutely.
So
Yep.
I know what I offer, you know. I mean, outside of the fact that I have fantastic hair, I am really, you know, I'm a very smart person. I'm a very intuitive person. I'm enlightened. You know, I'm a caring person. I have all this stuff. I've got tremendous amount of experience. I'm not very boring. I have all these things that I present to Janet. Okay?
Right.
Okay, so I present that to Janet. It's Janet.
Janet is your
Janet's my honey bunny.
honey bunny. Yes.
So Janet gets the opportunity to look at that and say, do you want, you know, it's like, this is what I have. Do you want to play? You know?
Exactly.
And she gets to say yes or no. You know, if she says yes, then I don't have to worry about me anymore.
Right.
Okay, I'm done. I presented who I am, so now my job is, okay, so you want to play, so who are you? So then I got to figure out, who is it that I'm working with here? You know, who is this person, and, you know, what does she bring to the table, and do I like what I see?
Right.
Okay, so if I like what I see, then I place value in the relationship. Then I place oh, hi. Oh,
Hi.
did I lose it?
Yeah.
Then I place value in the relationship. And what that value does for me is that gives me the incentive to do what I need to do. And this is step 3. I have to act in accordance with what it is that I value. I don't want to risk losing Janet.
Right.
Okay, I'm not going to do that. So what I have to do is make sure that Janet feels loved, she feels cared for, that I'm attentive to her, that even if I'm not able to give her something, that at least I would want to, and I'm listening to be able to see if I can, you know. And she needs to know all that kind of stuff, because I never want Janet to think or to feel like she needs to go any place but me. Okay? We'll go together. We'll find, there may be things that the two of us can't figure out, and maybe we would have to go to somebody else or to learn something else. That's fine. But we do it together. And we do it with the idea that we are secure in each other. Okay? So there's plenty of things in a relationship, the negative things in a relationship, when you're looking at relationships in terms of partnership. Janet, I'm focused on Janet. Janet's focused on me. Okay? Because if I'm going to be looking out for somebody, somebody's got to be looking out for me.
Right.
Okay? So a person gets that opportunity. If they don't want to look out for me, then I'm out of here. Because first off, I start off with loving me.
Right.
I love and accept myself. So if you don't want to do that, then we're done. Okay? If you don't know how to do that, I'll help you. And that will get us closer. I'll teach you what I need and how to listen to me, and I'll learn how to do that with you, and we'll become closer like that. You know? But so in a partnership, hang on a second here, because I'm getting a message. What are they doing to me here? Not now.
Not your choice.
Yeah, not my choice. Okay, sorry guys. So what the hell happened? Oh, we're going to be able to cut this out, aren't we?
Nope, probably not.
Damn.
This is going to be good. It's good stuff.
Okay. What I was going to is that Janet is aware of my insecurities, aware of the things that hold me back, but she's not privy to them when comes time for action.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense to me.
Okay.
Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, I think so.
Everybody out there, does it make sense to everybody out there?
Okay. In other words, if I'm with a partner and me and a partner are working some kind of business deal or something, and my partner has some sort of weakness in a particular area, and I'm aware of that weakness, I could get them past that weakness. I can help them through it. I can take over for it. There's many things that I can do because I don't have that weakness. They do. My partner does.
Right.
Okay. So in my situation, there are things that Janet says to me. Listen, just go out and do it. I know that you're worried about it and all that stuff. Like my connection, my universal connection. Every time I go any place, I'm wondering if I'm going to be connected or not.
Right. Exactly.
And she's going, that's ridiculous. It's never not been there. It's
Right.
never not been there. So okay. So that's my partner, and I can rely on her
Right.
to be there. So that is what the hell step is that?
Step 4.
That's okay. So that's step 4. Now building a partnership is that's step 4. I'm sorry.
All right.
Step 3 is act in accordance.
Accordance.
Step 4 is building a partnership. And building a partnership is really that. I mean, think in terms of being, of selling shoes.
Okay.
Okay. So
All right.
me and you are going to sell shoes together.
All right.
And what I bring to this thing is that I know a lot about shoes. I know. I've got thousands. No, I don't have thousands of shoes, but it seems like it.
I got one pair of sandals.
Yeah, I got a lot of shoes. Well, you can have some of mine.
Oh, good.
You can put 2 of them together. Make one.
I got big feet.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and I get these little ones, so it's lucky I don't fall over half the time. But anyway, so me and you were going to sell shoes.
All right.
And so what I have to do in this is I know what I bring. So my job here is to make sure that you're on board the whole time.
Gotcha. Yes.
And it's the same as I said before. It's keeping an eye on my partner, making sure that my partner is effective in the partnership, committed to the partnership. And one of the ways that you find that out is if your partner is worrying about you the same way that you worry about them. I want my partner. I want to know if my partner's thinking about going to somebody and talking about branching off selling socks.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I want my partner to come to me and say, hey, what about selling socks?
Exactly.
Okay, so if they're thinking about doing something outside of that, I got to know that, and I have to find out what's going on.
Absolutely.
Why are you feeling this way? Which brings us to step 5.
Yep.
step 5 is it's a really, really strong thing for women to understand step 5. I find it benefits women mostly because in today's day and age, if you decide that you want to be in a relationship, you've made that decision.
Right.
I want to be with you, and I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure that you get everything you need. Well, if the person that you're with does something that is, for instance, maybe they're talking to somebody on the internet, they're talking to another person, and that's what they did before. Okay, so they decided that they got caught or whatever it is. They want to change. They don't want to do that anymore, and you find out that they did it. Today, the idea of strength is to be able to say, you know something, I'm done. That's it. You crossed the line. It's over with. Now, I'm not entirely sure that that's where strength is. I think strength has got something to do with, wait a second, you just told me, we just went through all this. You just did this before and now you're doing it again. You said you wanted to be in a really good relationship, and I committed myself to making this a happy, healthy relationship. I'm not letting you off the hook. Now I'm going to pull back, and you're going to have to straighten out, and you're going to have to tell me why I should continue.
Right.
And I will continue because I want this relationship, but you've got to prove it to me and give me reasons to stay.
Right.
I'm not going to do anything at this point unless you do that. And if the person doesn't, come back, if it isn't returned, fine, it's done. But at least you want to say, you want to protect your interest first.
Right.
I want you. Okay? And I'm going to fight to get that. And if that means that I've been hurt before, and if that means I got to get hurt a little bit again while we hone a new relationship, because a new relationship is not going to work perfectly from the beginning to the end. You're not going to walk into my office and say, oh, geez, I'm sorry, kiss and make up, and then every day is going to be, roses and, sunshine and roses. It has to go bad in order to get better. It has to do that in order to practice the things and the tools that you need in order to build the relationship again. That has to happen.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand that a lot, that well, he's still doing the same thing.
Gotcha. So what was number 5 again? What was it called?
Number 5 is know when to leave.
Know when to leave.
Yeah.
Wow. That is amazing. So I want to go back to number 3, accordance.
Sure.
Because that was really interesting. What you meant when you brought up the accordance is that what was the whole thought process behind that? Number 3.
Acting in accordance?
Yeah.
Okay. Acting in accordance is based on what is it that you're willing to risk by taking actions that you used to take.
Right.
Okay. So if I know that I want to be with somebody and I really want to work at loving them and I don't want to lose them, I absolutely don't want to lose them, then I'm going to act in accordance with that the value that I place on them and what it is that I know that that I'm aware that they need.
Right.
Okay? So acting in accordance is focusing on them first. Okay? Putting them first.
Got it,
so
yep.
I don't lose. I already know what it is that I need and what I want.
Right.
We've established that.
Right,
okay?
exactly.
So if I'm going to take care of myself, then I'm going to do everything that I need to do, everything that I know that I need to do. I'm going to do that so I don't risk losing something I want.
Absolutely.
Okay? It's weird, but I see it in a way that, like with me and Janet, I'm really, really thrilled that the way that I try to act with her, that she benefits from it.
Right.
That she's happy, that she knows that I love her and knows that I care about her. But the truth is that that's secondary to my motivation.
Right.
My motivation is a selfish one. I don't want to lose Janet, period. So I'm going to do everything. I'm glad that it helps her out. I'm glad that it works and all that kind of stuff. But it's selfish.
Right.
It's me. I don't want to lose.
But you have to give and get, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be a two-way street completely, correct?
Absolutely.
And that's why I brought you back to that, is that we act to accordance of, we change, the energy of it and everything else. We have to change and know when there's change and growth.
Okay.
I watch this all the time.
I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going with it?
I think a little bit.
All right.
I have a responsibility to not only take my actions, but to help Janet take hers as well.
There you go.
My job in the relationship, my job in the partnership is to help my partner take positive actions, because if my partner's taking negative actions that are hurting the relationship, I'm going to lose.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Okay? So I'm not going to let that kind of stuff pass, without addressing it, without saying, wait a second here. We both decided that we want to be in a really good, close relationship together. So if you did that, then I have to remind you that the action that you're taking right now is not a good one.
Right.
So what do you want to do?
Exactly.
And you have to leave it up to the other person.
Absolutely.
It's up to them to decide to do it. And sometimes they can't do it, which if they can't do it, then there's things to learn about the relationship. That's not an end necessarily, but it is something. Maybe it's not time to grow in that area at the moment.
What step is it that if you have somebody that's really strong in the spiritual world and somebody that's not really strong in the spiritual world?
Strong in the spiritual world. I think that's in step one. It's always about who am I with? Strong in the spiritual world. Are they like always strong in the spiritual world, or are they strong when they're?
I think one believes more in the spirituality, while the other one doesn't believe anything in the spirituality.
I see. Well, I guess that depends on. Am I going to judge that person as being more or less spiritual than I am? In the partnership, how does it play out in the partnership? I would say that's the more important thing.
Right.
Is how does it play? How does those kinds of things play out in a partnership? Spirituality is connected to actions.
Right.
Okay. So
Correct.
the actions in and of themselves are whatever they are. You can deem them to be spiritual. Somebody that is not necessarily spiritual may take a tremendously spiritual action, And so to say, what was their intent going in, I'm not entirely sure that matters.
It's like I got a lot of my clients in that there's a lot of clients that got into spirituality while they're married. Love their husband or love their wife, either or in that.
Yeah.
And their belief system has totally changed.
Yeah.
While their spouse has never changed.
Okay.
And I get a lot of this is like, what do I do? If they don't want to listen to me, they're not coming to any of the classes I go to, or they're not doing meditation with me, then
okay.
But I love them and they
Okay.
care about me.
Well, so I would say that you need to ask the other person, that you're partners with, how does your action work in this relationship? How's it working for you?
Right, exactly.
So you don't believe in any of this kind of stuff. You think that me going to classes, you think that me trying to I'm trying to better myself. I've been exposed to some things that other people are saying are more spiritual, and you don't want anything to do with it. How's that working for you?
Exactly.
How's that working for you? Do you see that? I'm very aware of the fact that I'm in a relationship with somebody that thinks I'm full of it.
Right.
That thinks I'm woo woo or whatever it is like that. So how long do you think that that's going to work? And what good does it do you in our relationship to feel that way? I mean, me and Janet have differences.
Right, exactly.
I mean, we're not on the same place, same plane, and all that kind of stuff. But it is, enjoying the similarities. Pointing out negativity does nobody any good.
Absolutely.
Unless you do something about it. Boy, we're really different. So let's change. Let's do something.
Yep.
I get it, and I get it, and I probably need a second or so. The first thing that I thought that once I started to realize what you were asking,
Right.
I said send them to me. I mean,
Right.
send them to me, because if you're going to be in a relationship with somebody, you want to nurture them no matter what.
Right.
You don't have to believe in what they say, but and what they're doing, and you don't have to become some guru and sit on a mountain, But change is constant, and if you are really unwilling to change and never want to change, then I'd have to ask the more spiritual person, well, what are you doing?
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. What's your value system?
Absolutely. We've been talking to Ray Kopakowski. He's talking about his new book, The 5 Easy Steps to a Healthy, Selfish Relationship.
Yeah.
Said it right, didn't I?
Yeah, healthy.
Awesome. I love it. This is great, Ray. How do people get a hold of you if they need to get a hold of you?
You can reach me at Inner Power Insights. I think it's innerpowerinsights.com is my website. RAYKOP 0326 at Gmail. You can reach me there. Or phone number is 602-487-4805.
That phone number again was?
602-487-4805.
And your email, one more time on that email.
It's RAYKOP, RAYKOP 0326 at gmail.com.
I love it, love it,
Is
love it.
that right?
Yeah, that sounds right. I think
I
I've
don't
sent you
know.
emails that way. So
Yeah, but for me to say it that quickly and
That-
think I know what I'm talking about,
I'm-
that's scary.
I got scared you just talking that way.
Is that it? Are we sort of over?
Oh my gosh, we have a couple more minutes left. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew where they could find you.
Oh, okay. God,
Yeah.
I always feel like I just got started.
I
and all that
know,
stuff,
but you got a lot of information out there. I mean, this is really good. I mean, you got the 5 steps and that we went through. I really, really like that.
Thank
You
you.
could take a look at that. Everybody can take a look at that, and see where they're at with it.
It really is. I don't know that it doesn't fit anyone in any relationship, and I think that that's why I'm being driven to do this on a much larger scale.
Right, absolutely.
Janet was asking me, what do I think my audience is, and I think it's anyone that's alive. Everybody's in a relationship. And everyone's in a relationship.
You'd be in marketing nightmare. What's your audience reach? Everybody that breathes.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be a marketing nightmare.
There we go.
But I think it's everybody that has a relationship, too. I mean, because we have relationships with ourselves and everything. So
It's funny because this is the first time in my life that I've actually been able to narrow down a subject, and be able to say and focus on it and say, look, this is what I'm going to do for right now.
absolutely.
So
Good for
anybody
you.
out there that, any chance that I get, I'm going to be doing classes on it. I've got a class that the 5 Easy Steps, and I'm going to start pushing that. I'm ready to do that. I've got the book that's being worked on, and I'm ready to do a TED Talk if they'll call me.
Okay, we'll
And
put that
I
out
want to
there.
get out there. I want to get out there and speak about
Yep.
this.
Do you have anything coming up right now?
No, not right now. Right now, I'm just focusing on crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and all that
Perfect.
stuff. So I appreciate this.
Absolutely. We
very
appreciate
much.
you. We appreciate you too.
Yeah, it was nice.
Last time we had you on, we had really lots of downloads, and also too with you.
Oh, yeah?
They really
Yeah,
liked.
nice.
They really like you.
Okay.
So we're going to have you more often.
Well, they
How's
should.
that?
I mean, I really like me, so
Yep.
follow suit.
The question Cindy wanted to ask you:
Yes.
should we replace her while she's gone, or not? Should
Is she
we?
gone?
She's in Maine for 3
I didn't-
months.
Oh, I didn't notice. I thought she was.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, I thought
I
she
think
was
Cindy.
here.
I think you got
Hi,
your answer.
Hi, Cindy. Should you replay? No.
See, there you go.
See, the thing of it is, I'm not really good at marketing and all that kind of stuff. It's not my strong suit. But I think that it says Rod and Cindy podcast, and that seems to mean something to me. It's like,
It has to have a Cindy.
yeah, wouldn't you think so?
So as we're looking for a co-host, it has to be named Cindy.
Oh, I think you could probably bring people in,
Yeah,
during
that's
the
what I
time.
think so,
Sure,
too.
it doesn't.
Absolutely.
It doesn't hurt anything,
No,
and
she-
just when she's ready.
She was just curious. Because I asked her this morning. I said, "Is there anything you want to ask Ray?" And she says, "Ask her if I should be replaced." I was like, okay.
Replaced. No,
No, and not that aspect
you
either.
can't replace her.
You can't replace Cindy.
Thanks
All right,
again.
everybody. This is awesome. Thanks, Ray, very much.
And Rod, before I leave, you have great hair.
Thank you. You have great hair,
Thank
too.
you, too.
Just going to say that. Bye, everybody out there in the crowd. Thank you for coming in. We're at Everything Just Rocks in Tempe, Arizona. What a
Yay.
beautiful place we have here. You guys have a great night, and stay tuned for more to come. Good night.